Till you hear me so loud and clearly, this is the last time you'll ever hear from me.
Well, good afternoon guys, welcome to another edition of Jonesy's vlog. So, reacting to the 2-2 draw against Palace on Saturday, I have to say, much more positive, really happy with how we played in that game. Obviously, again, disappointed to be not holding on to the lead and letting in a fairly late goal, you know, as well, especially in the last 10 minutes. But overall, you know, I think we played really well against a very tough Palace side away from home. You know, we had 2 tough away games against Leicester and Palace. You know, both games, you know, Leicester, I said I'd be happy with a point before that, but with the way that we lost that equalising goal in the very last minute, you know, I was more disappointed than I was content with the point after that game. Whereas against Palace, I felt we played so well that I don't know, just on a whole, I just felt more positive after that one than against Leicester. You know, I felt a point was probably a correct result. Really, you know, Palace controlled quite a lot of the game, but we played some quite decent stuff, which was really pleasing to see. And that phrase that I've been using in recent weeks, you know, stepping up, you know, I really felt that was a stepped up performance on Saturday. So that was really good to see, really. And obviously the main man of the show was my old friend Mr Morison. You know, I really can't fault the guy. You know, that second half performance from him really was just brilliant, and I'm hoping that this is the start of something new, and it's given him the confidence to take that into the next games and hopefully start to completely prove me wrong. Because, you know, I feel the criticism I've been giving him recently has been quite fair. You know, I've seen a lot of more Leeds fans saying the same that I have, you know, looking quite lazy, not really looking to get involved in the game, you know, refusing to kind of challenge for any headers. And that was the same up until half time against Palace. But that second half, you know, he really started to step up, came into the game, was challenging for headers and winning them, you know, starting to connect more with McCormack up front and set him up for a decent chance. And obviously his goals, you know, for me personally, his first goal was fantastic. The way he sort of ran onto the ball, controlled it first time, and let away the shot with the second with his second touch. I thought that was magnificent. The second goal, obviously the long ball route one from Paddy Kenny. You know, that was fantastic precision and control to take that on the volley with his right foot. And, you know, it really was good to see. And all along, you know, people have been saying, you know, I'll give him more chance, I'll give him more time. Look, I haven't been wanting him to fail, and I've not been picking him out at all. You know, I want him to prove me wrong. You know, I really do. But I just felt he hasn't been bringing anything to the team. But like I say, hopefully that second half performance will bring his confidence up. And as long as he continues this, well, for the rest of the season, really, then I'll be perfectly happy, and I'll hold my hands up. So, you know, a lot of positives to take out from Saturday for me. The few negatives, I think, although I've really been happy with how Stephen Warnock's played since he's come here, I felt he was probably at fault for both goals really on Saturday. I mean, the first one, Glenn Murray was just left so wide open at the far post with no one on him. I'm guessing it was meant to be Warnock marking him, I'm not sure, but either him or Peltier had just left so many yards of room for him on that post. You know, he was always going to score that. And the second goal, I expected Warnock to do a lot better. You know, a player of his experience, you know, I thought he'd have managed to keep his eye on the ball, but he seemed to completely lose where his man was, which was quite disappointing to see. But can't take away the finish from Murray. You know, it was a fantastic finish from him. And like I say, probably a deserved point for them, but, you know, very disappointing from our point of view to let two quite sloppy, easy goals in, really. Another downside is the way sort of Ross McCormack is doing. You know, he's putting the effort in, bless him. You know, he's playing really well, sort of away from his striker role. And like he said at the weekend, he clearly seems a bit pissed off that he's playing more sort of out on the wing than actually playing as a striker. And, you know, you can't fault him for the effort he's putting in, but when it's coming to his opportunities, you know, they're just not working out for him for whatever reason. You know, he's obviously just stuck in a rut at the moment. But it's that thing of, do you keep persisting with him and hoping that he comes good, or he maybe gets that one goal to bring his confidence back up? or do you give him a rest for a few games? Because I mean, he's going to be wanting to do so well every game. That can sometimes work against you if you're maybe trying a bit too hard. And I think that came across against Palace. You know, he had about 4 or 5 attempts at playing some back-heeled passes, and not one of them came off. And it just showed a bit of desperation from him, really. So it'll be interesting to see how Warnock goes about that. I imagine he'll probably keep him in the squad. So we'll just have to see how that goes. For me personally, I think Paul Green maybe needs a rest. Since he's come back in the side since that Blackpool game, for me, he's not really shown the form that he has sort of the first half of the season, which is disappointing because I was really impressed with him and thought he'd been doing really, really well. But these past few games, he seems to have been losing the ball really, really easily. You know, constantly, you know, passes that were working out are just going straight to the opposition now. He seems to be getting caught out on the ball quite a lot, and quite in you know, in the middle of the field and in dangerous situations, and it leads to the opposition breaking and attacking. So maybe a rest for him would do him some good. You know, bring someone different into the squad. Maybe a Ryan Hall. I'd love to see Ryan Hall get a proper chance, and it was nice to see that Neil Warnock remembered that he did have him on the bench on Saturday for all of what, five minutes was it. So yes, those are the negatives really, and we had the comedy dive of the season from Luke Varney. I mean, what he was thinking, it was so pathetic and so embarrassing. You know, when we see other clubs and, you know, other players of other clubs doing it, we're always quick to slate. So, you know, no difference here. It's our own player, but I mean, it really was embarrassing and really, really poor to see. And you know, it's a problem in our game that really needs eradicating somehow. But you know, I haven't seen such a bad dive from a Leeds player like that in quite some time. And I mean, really, I suppose he was lucky to be on the pitch. I mean, Holloway was saying he probably deserved 2 yellow cards. He obviously got booked for the dive, and there were a few other decisions, like the scything down of, I can't remember which Palace player it was, but you know, that was probably a booking. I mean, if that was to happen against us, then you know, we'd be shouting for the yellow card quite easily. So it was probably a lucky boy to stay on the pitch, really, Varney. But you know, that's just the way football goes. I mean, we've had so many poor decisions against us this season. You know, it was time for us to get a bit of luck, really. So yeah, like I say, quite positive really after that game on Saturday. So we look ahead to the next few games. Two pretty big home matches against Peterborough and Huddersfield. Peterborough tomorrow night, of course, where it's reduced ticket prices. So hopefully it'll be quite a full Ellen Road. Don't think Peterborough are bringing many. I think about 150 tickets have been sold or something, which is pretty poor. But yeah, hopefully it'll be a decent atmosphere, and we can keep that performance up from Saturday and take that into the game tomorrow, and then again onto Saturday against Huddersfield in the Yorkshire derby. Again, that should be a fantastic atmosphere with the paint it white scheme going on, and I think tickets aren't too pricey for that one either. So hopefully again a full Ellen Road will be good there. Although I don't think Huddersfield have sold all their tickets, which is also disappointing. But there we go. So, you know, it's 2 games that really we look at. You know, we don't want to take anything for granted in this league. You know, anyone really can beat anyone. But we look at these 2 home games, and it's 2 games that we should be winning. You know, it'd be 6 points that would be really, really great at this point in the season. But we'll just have to see. You know, Peterborough have been upsetting quite a few people, a few teams recently. You know, getting results that no one would have expected. Whereas Huddersfield, they're really sort of going down since sacking Grayson. You know, I think Robbins has only got 1 victory whilst he's been at the club. Quite a lot of big heavy defeats that they've had. So again, you know, their confidence is going to be low. As long as we can keep our confidence up and these performances, then I'm quite confident that we can get 6 points from these next 2 games. I'm still not looking ahead to the playoffs. I'm not hoping that we get to the playoffs or setting that as a goal, because there's no point doing that, because, you know, personally I don't feel we deserve to be there. You know, if I was to set that goal, then I'd probably only be left disappointed at the end. Again, like I said before, take each game as it comes, and if we do get there, then fantastic, great. You know, we've had a decent sort of final third to the season. But if not, then, you know, I won't be too gutted. So that's all from me today, guys. So as always, let me know your thoughts, your thoughts on the game against Palace. If you were as impressed as I was with that performance, you know, a lot better than the past few weeks. Let me know your thoughts on Steve Morison, if you think this is a big turning point for him in the season. Let me know your thoughts ahead of the game tomorrow against Peterborough, if you're going to it, if you're looking forward to it, taking advantage of the cheap tickets. So yeah, that's all from me, guys. I'm currently uploading a Far Cry 3 gaming video, so those of you who are interested, then please do check that out. And yes, I will probably speak to you on Wednesday after the Peterborough game. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Do get in contact with me at my Twitter at ChrisJonesLUFC, and I will see you very shortly.
Repeat